It was only 3 years ago yesterday that we were literally dancing in the streets, grown men crying tears of joy as the Philadelphia Eagles beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl 41-33. Only 3 years ago. So how did we get to where we are now? Talking about trading our once MVP-like quarterback and having a new head coach, not named Doug Peterson, and a bunch of questions, only winning 4 games last year. How did it come to this? Well, in the news today, Carson Wentz is all over the rumor mill about getting traded. Where's he going to go? What are you hearing? When will this end? We're going to talk about all that coming up next. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Eagles News Now podcast. I'm professional wrestler Chris Wilde, live from bar 4133. And earlier today, I went out and I got my first shot of the COVID vaccine. Now, a lot of people got a lot of opinions about this vaccine, both good and bad. I've heard a little bit of everything. However, at the end of the day, I had to do what I thought was best for me, what was best for my family. What was best for my different career options that I have. So I went ahead and I got the shot. Thankfully, no side effects as of yet. I still have all my body parts and everything, and I haven't grown any different ones yet. But anyway, I say that because it's kind of relatable to me on the topic of today, and that is the rumor mill is going crazy as far as Carson Wentz and all this trade talk. Now, at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles have to do what's best for the Philadelphia Eagles. At this point in time, I cannot see a world where Carson Wentz comes back to the Eagles. I just cannot see him playing for the Eagles in 2021. All the negativity out there, the fact that the guy, and I talked about this in yesterday's video or a couple days ago, the fact that he's not saying anything tells me everything. Now, earlier today, Les Bowen, who, for whatever reason, I don't know what exactly I said to piss him off, but I said something years ago to him that made him block me on Twitter. But he throws out a tweet today, and I'm going to find it for you. And he basically says that he's talked to a source. I've talked to an NFL source, not with the Eagles, who hears a Wentz trade is close. This isn't first-hand information. I do feel the longer we go without Wentz saying something like, I'm happy to be an Eagle and excited about playing for Nick Sirianni, the closer we get. Now, that's basically what I said in my last video. I just feel like the fact that he didn't welcome Sirianni to Philadelphia, that he didn't come out and say, last year was rough. I learned a lot. I'm going to be better. I'm excited for the future. The stuff that Carson Wentz usually says, or a starting quarterback or leader of a football team says, he hasn't said that. I think it tells me everything I need to know. Now, look, today, it was my timeline was nuts with information, and you don't know what to believe. I kind of believe that nobody knows anything, to be honest with you. But we're going to talk about what I did see. First thing, Carson Wentz, they go to his Instagram. He does not have that he's quarterback of the Eagles there. He just has that he's a quarterback. I wouldn't read too much into that because his profile picture, he's still wearing an Eagles uniform, and his Twitter handle, no information has changed there. Now, later in the day, after Les puts out this tweet, there's a lot of discussion that Frank Reich and the Colts are aggressively pursuing Carson Wentz. Chris Ballard, the GM, gets on a radio show, says he doesn't deny. Obviously, he can't come out and just say, yeah, we're looking at Carson Wentz because of the NFL tampering rules and all this. unless the Eagles gave him permission to say that. But he won't deny the fact that they have talked to the Eagles, and he basically says we're looking at all options, but there's not going to be a trade today with the Colts. A little bit later, now we get to the Bears are in the discussion. Of course, Mitch Trubisky being a free agent, and them who wants Mitch Trubisky, and them not really having a quarterback now. This is a team that passed on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, by the way. A guy named Brandon Robinson says, as of 30 minutes ago, the Bears have the top offer for Carson Wentz. Unless another team comes over the top, Wentz will be headed to Chicago. Bigger offer than most have expected. Bidding war will do that. Look, this guy, Brandon Robinson, never heard of him. He's got about 3,000 followers on Twitter. I don't understand how so many different media outlets picked that tweet up and kind of ran with it. But apparently the Bears are in the discussion as well. I've heard that the Panthers are looking to trade their 8th pick in the draft for Carson Wentz. Now, while we're talking about this, look, last week there was that mega trade with Matt Stafford going to L.A., Jared Goff going to Detroit. And when that happened, I got really worried because I'm going, look, if the Eagles are going to try to get rid of Carson Wentz, they're going to have to give up something, to unload him, because the Rams gave up 2 first-round picks and Jared Goff, as well as a 3rd-round pick to Detroit for Matt Stafford. And no disrespect to Matt Stafford, I think he's an absolute stud. But this is a guy that also played with Calvin Johnson. I mean, hasn't won a playoff game. And again, I know the rest of the parts around him were trash most of the time. For a guy that, and again, Jared Goff is at best a system quarterback, at best a game manager. I get it, but he's won playoff games. He's been to the Super Bowl, played horribly there, and Sean McVay has been feeding him everything through his helmet. But just to see that, and the fact that he was drafted 1 spot ahead of Carson Wentz, it made me think, man, how are the Eagles going to get rid of this huge contract? They're going to have to give up picks. I got really worried about that. So to see that teams are in bidding wars for Carson Wentz and planning on giving up a first-round pick, that is definitely exciting news if it's true for the Philadelphia Eagles. I've seen rumors about the Raiders going for him. Is it going to be a team like the Washington football team that comes out of nowhere? It's not like we haven't traded a quarterback to them before. The Patriots, the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, there's so many different places that Carson Wentz can go. And if I'm the Eagles, I'm trying to get this done pretty quickly because, again, there are going to be a lot of quarterbacks available that are going to be shopped around. A guy like Deshaun Watson, making it clear that he doesn't want to go back to Houston. So you guys let me know who you think is going to take Carson Wentz. Because, again, I think there's probably a 5% chance that he ends up back in Philadelphia. I just do not see it happening, and I've kind of saw it more this week than ever. Jalen Hurts' interviews, how when they ask him who's going to be the starting quarterback, this big smile comes on his face. Again, you can read into people's actions, and sometimes actions do. And, look, it's a cliche, but sometimes actions do speak louder than words. And I've seen that with Hurts and with Wentz. And again, it's really tough to see. The media, the best thing about this is, especially the local media, they're going nuts. Like they don't know what's what anymore because they're told one thing, they tell you one thing, then the complete opposite happens. And they really don't know where to go with this. If you've been listening to the local radio or reading some of the local articles, they have no idea where to go with this Carson Wentz stuff. Is he worth nothing? Now he's worth first round picks. They have no clue. So it's funny kind of watching them dance around everything. Now, Dan Patrick said on his show that he heard that nobody called for Carson Wentz. It's just the Eagles drumming up noise. Do you believe him? Do you believe Les Bowen? Howard Eskin put up a tweet saying that he hears a trade's going to happen next week. So I'm seeing more talk of a trade happening than it not happening. And Dan Patrick, I couldn't tell you what his track record is with being right or wrong. I know Howard Eskin's more wrong than he is right. At the same time, who knows? I cannot wait. I don't know how you guys feel. I can't wait till it's all over with. This is absolutely exhausting to me. Carson Wentz was one of my favorite guys. Of course, he had a bad year last year. One thing that really worries me, that kind of scares me a little bit, is as a Philadelphia fan, we've kind of seen this script before, right? You know, a guy leaves the team, is better elsewhere. We saw it with Nelson Aguilar. We saw it with some of the corners that we dropped. But Carson Wentz, if you look at his numbers, his first 5 years compared to Drew Brees' first 5 years, they're pretty similar. They're really oddly similar. Of course, Drew Brees, the Chargers let him walk, and Drew Brees becomes a Hall of Famer. You know, could this happen to Carson Wentz? Could it be that, yeah, this is a COVID year. It was a weird year. He had a bad year with a horrible offensive line, stale coaching. He didn't get along with the coach. Is it possible that he goes to a new place with a new scheme, a new coach, people that he wants to be around, and a good offensive line and good weapons around him, and becomes a Hall of Fame quarterback? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we asked ourselves about Drew Brees 5 years ago, or after his first 5 years, what would the answer be? I mean, it's hard to say, but again, you definitely don't want to see that if you're an Eagles fan. Now, luckily, I think Jalen Hurts is going to be good in this league as well. So we do have, you know, drafting him in the second round kind of helps now that we look at it. Now, at the same time, you're not helping out your quarterback that just drugged his team into the playoffs the year before by drafting Wentz in the second, or by drafting Hurts in the second round. The fact that you can't draft good wide receivers for some reason. The fact that your free agents that you signed, except for 2017, have absolutely sucked. Contracts are bad. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, look, it would be great for the Eagles to get a first-round pick for Carson Wentz at any point in that first round. I don't care if it's 8 or if it's 20. It's a win for the Eagles, but you got to look at who is picking these picks. That scares me the most. The same guy that drafted Donnell Pumphrey, the same guy that passed on DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson. This is the guy that we're basically putting all this stock into with these draft picks. So I don't know, guys. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it just being over and being able to start and researching draft picks and getting into being excited about the draft and not having to do a video about Carson Wentz every single week, because it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. And I can just imagine what it's doing to guys on the team or the locker room, not knowing who their leader is, and wondering why Carson Wentz isn't answering questions or addressing the media and the fan base. But hopefully this will be over sooner than later, as I have rambled enough. Super Bowl in a couple days. I'm going to be doing a preview video tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Again, thanks for sticking with me, guys. Thanks to all the new subscribers. If you like what you saw and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. As I just love connecting with all you guys. And don't forget to leave in the comments, where do you think Carson Wentz ends up? Are there some that still think he's going to be here in Philadelphia? Because I don't, and it sucks, because I got a bunch of Carson Wentz jerseys and a bunch of Carson Wentz memorabilia that I really can't do anything with anymore. But I guess it's time to get those number 2 jerseys in the mail. Either way, let me know. And everybody, please stay safe out there. Stay healthy. Go Birds. I'll see you guys later. Not down with the Eagles News Now podcast? Zach, what do you got to say about that?
You guys can suck.